Very good morning to all of you. We'll start the session shortly. So previously in the classroom, you have heard a lot about documentary films. You have heard how to make it, the pros and cons of making it. So now the industry experts are here who will be introducing the subject and also will be sharing their knowledge about this subject, because we all know that documentary, there is a line called, in case of documentary, God is the director, because everything relies on the uncertainty. Because finally on the editing table, you get to find that what is going to be the final product. So we have with ourselves Shinchita Di. Shinchita is a very close senior of mine. We both have studied in same university, and Urja is also there. So both of them are from People's Archive of Rural India. People's Archive of Rural India is such a platform. You can say it a live journal. You can say call it an archive where you can find a lot of a lot of news reports, a lot of endangered cultures, video documentation of it. You can find it over there. You just have to log in. You can search it like PARI on Google, and you can find the platform. So I'll not waste any more time, because both of them are very busy with their work. So I'll hand over the mic to them. So it's all yours, Shinchita Di and Urja.
Hi students, hi, good morning to all the students and the teachers. Urja and I are working in People's Archive of Rural India, founded by Mr. P. Sainath, and with his objective of creating an archive of the things that we miss out in rural India. We started with video documentaries, writing stories, photo albums. So today we are going to talk about documentary filmmaking, and it will be a little bit informal because we are going to share our field experiences and our colleagues' experiences that we went through while going on the field. It is completely, when we go into the field, what Ankan has said is quite right, that God decides what we carry. So basically, we are going to present you a small PPT, and with the slides, we are going to elaborate on those parts and show you little snippets of our film that we have made from different parts of the country. And Urja is Urja is currently making a film and also made a lot before. So she's going to share some of her experiences while making and while deciding, planning for a story. So we will start with the PPT first. Ankan, can we share?
Yeah, I think you would have
yes, of course.
Give a permission.
Probably you have to give a permission.
Yes, I have given already.
Okay, thank you. Can you see my screen?
Yeah,
yes,
we can.
Yes.
Okay.
Just maybe click on full screen.
I'll do that. Okay.
I think there should be another way to do it, because you see the tabs and all.
Anyway, I'll start. Okay.
So guys, first of all, Shinchita, can I speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Start.
Hey. Hello everyone. So excited to see the numbers also. A lot of you have turned up. So I'm excited for the fact that people like you, students coming from Kolkata or different part of the country, are interested in rural India. And I hear you have taken out your time of the morning and are here to read and listen about rural India and what people can do about it. I'm really excited about this idea. So, and I promise you at the end of it, you will also be a little more thrilled. I know that you already are thrilled, but I assure you that you'll be thrilled to make more films and come up with ideas from your own villages or from your own urban areas where you come from. And this is what actually this is what had excited me at first when I joined Pari, and I'm sure this is what had excited Shinchita also. So I come from a village near Jaipur. This is called Sambar Lake. So yeah, it's a village near Sambar Lake. I come from that area, and I keep with my parents. I have kept roaming around in Rajasthan, the area of Rajasthan, and then went ahead and studied also in Rajasthan. So and when I met Sainath, and when I knew about Pari, when I read Sainath's book, this part had excited me a lot. That why the stories that I have seen in Sambar Lake, why the stories that why the people I have seen in Jaipur and the people I have seen in Udaipur, why their stories are important. Because you see, this is the most diverse part in the whole country. Our countryside, India, has the most diverse culture. We have like around 833 million people living there, and very conveniently, the mainstream media doesn't care about it. So, and this is where Pari comes in. We do care about it, and we are a living journal. The idea is to record the history and create an archive for the future generations. Otherwise, won't know of the many weaving communities that we have. The dances that we have now are going to extend in like next 50 years. There's going to be no flute maker or of the weaving communities that we have right now. So the idea is to at least record all of this and tell their stories to people. This is the basic idea and the most exciting part about Pari. So yes, so coming to the ideation for Pari films. So what kind of stories does Pari do? Does any of one of you have any idea? Have any one of you have ever read Pari stories or seen the Instagram pages? What are your notions or ideas about it? Does anyone of you want to say something? What do you like about Pari films? In case you have seen it, I would understand if you have not, because you're going to see some now. Is there anyone who would want to speak? Or maybe you can write in the chat what you know about Pari. Okay, so I would take it forward. So what we do with Pari and what Pari looks for is the stories of rural India and the migrants. These migrants can be people who have come from rural areas but are now residing in some urban area. Like let's say I'm right now Udaipur based, and so people who are here, you can call them town people or maybe urban areas wala people, but these people, most of us are migrants, including myself. I am second generation migrant, to be honest. My father is first generation migrant, and there are people like this. This is what makes one town, just the migrants from rural India. So, and we are the people who want to tell their stories. And what are the ideas that we look for? What are the kind of stories that we look for? Are, let's say, bamboo makers. You just go around in the city, you see bamboo makers, you see artisans in the country, you see potterers, and there's climate change also. You would see it on the other side of it. There's farming also. Uh, it can be about migrant workers, it can be about women, it can be about Adivasis, the struggles of Dalit people, uh, forest rights. There's also a project, it's a very, sorry, did someone say something? Okay, I think it just, oh, ah. So we have a very special project, which is Foot Soldiers of Freedom, and you're going to see one documentary by P. Sainath. Person sitting here, Shinjita, and another colleague of ours, Samyukta, had shot that film with Sainath. So that is going to be another experience that Shinjita will talk about only. She is the person for that. And there's also about a very cool part of our project is traveler's tales. So you go around traveling from one place to another. You cross areas where you feel like this is something new. Okay, I need to record this and send it to Pari. You can do that. it's not going to be a travelogue type thing. I mind you, please, it cannot be a travelogue type thing, but recording the people on the way, that is also one of the things that we do. We also record the rural sports that you don't really see on Sony or somewhere else on the TV. And there's also healthcare that we have talked about. During COVID, we had some films about migrants and about the healthcare that had collapsed during COVID-19. We have some grim stories also like that. So this is more or less the kind of stories, the ideas that Pari accepts, which is like now you can see that it is almost everything that we do about. The point is that rural India and the migrant should be at the center, is all you need to do, and it should be of a value to archiving. It should be of archiving value. That is what Pari does, and Pari.
Probably to make it more interesting, we'll start with one film that they can
Yes.
relate, since you people are from Kolkata and expecting a larger amount of the crowd is bong like me. So I'm trying to give you an idea how Pari functions through a film made in Bakura, which is famous for the pottery, the red earth. So we'll start watching the film, and in those by looking at those glimpses, you can have questions, we can answer them, how we planned, how we executed, how the post production works can be gone through the film. Is it okay to show Ankan?
Yeah, of course.
I'll show the film. So there are, it becomes a little interactive. Otherwise,
Yeah.
probably some of the people will start yawning
Yeah, of course.
if we only speak and talk.
So we are going to show you some like 3-4 minutes of film. You can watch that with us, and then later, once this workshop is over, we can send all the links of the films that we have shown and our YouTube link, so that you can go through and watch the whole film, because it's not going to be possible. We wanted you to see very different kind of films and just some glimpses of it, so that you get excited and get an idea of what kind of films that we do. And then later you can just go and watch those films full length. Right now we're going to show you some like little parts of it.
Yeah.
আমার নাম বুদ্ধদেব কুম্ভকার, গ্রাম পাজমুড়া, পোস্ট পাজমুড়া, জেলা বাঁকুড়া, থানা তালডাংরা। আমি জাতিতে কুম্ভকার, আমি টেরাকোটার কাজ করি।
Phil watched some of it, and now Shinchita is going to explain a little more about it. And this film is from 2015, Shinchita, right? Yeah, please, can you please tell us about it? Thoda sa.
Yeah. So this is what we see in the roads, the highways. We see the dolls. We buy it from them. Probably we bargain. Now, after watching the film, the amount of labor one goes through will retain us from bargaining the products. Am I sure? Anyway, so the thing is that the film was made not by a Bengali, but it was from a girl from Kerala, and she was so mesmerized by the products that was exhibited somewhere in the country. She came down to West Bengal, did her proper research, and with the help of a lot of people, she made this film. Anyway, the thing is that when we go to other location, if we are from a particular region, we go to another location, the main thing would be going through the demographic of the place where we are shooting. Okay. For say, if I'm from Kolkata and I go to Mumbai or I go to Maharashtra, so I have to first find a contact person. Otherwise, it is a little bit tricky to get into, because there will be a language barrier, first of all. Then second of all, we do not know the place, and it will be very difficult for us to, make a film, out of nowhere, make a film on a person who doesn't understand your language. They won't understand Hindi as well. They speak Marathi. So language becomes a barrier. So this girl with a translator came to West Bengal, went to Purulia, stayed over there for 7 to 10 days just to get the idea ki location kahan pe hai, kya hai, matlab what we can shoot. And she got a camera and just went to the location number of times, and there was probably 70 to 80 hours of footage to make this small little film. So I mean, no footage is wasted because we in Pari archive all those footages. This is from 2015. If I go to the place or you go to the similar place and make a film, probably the technology have changed a little bit, and the production probably has dropped down or increased. You can see a lot of change because in 2015 this film was made. What I'm saying, because the date is very important while you're documenting a film. And uh, and the other thing would be the date. Documentation is about the date. If this 2000 in 2014 or 2015 this film was made, now the technologies you will find is different from other, from the past. And actually, I would like to have some questions, because otherwise the film is probably what you have watched is what she has made. And the footages that we had, we use the best ones. So in the post production, Urja, would you say something that what we how we choose, how we I mean, how the thing works?
Yeah.
With all the consents, because we do not want the narrator to be in trouble, and what they do not want to see in the picture. So all this kind of thing that we do while editing.
Yeah. So first of all, I think let's if you want to go to the post-production part right now, or should I first talk about research and initial
No, I
pictures?
mean the timeline, what we do from the
Yeah.
pitching a story to
Hmm.
going to post production, what we use, what we don't, what we reject, and why do we reject, what
Hmm.
is important while what are the questionnaires we prepare, those kind of thing, how it is important.
Yeah. So let's say when I am on a me or Shinjita, both of us, whenever both of us are on the editing table, and people like you, filmmakers like all of you, and contributors like you, coming from different parts of the countries, when they send it to us, the footage. So there are a couple of things that we ensure that you all of you keep in mind before shooting and before sending it to us. Uh, we always keep repeating it that the focus should be the people in the story, the narrators. It cannot be you. It cannot be how Urja has a very nice voice, and now she's going to ask questions that we're going to record, and she would keep coming in front of the camera because she likes. That's not how it goes. The focus should be people in your story. That is all there is. And before you shoot it, the footage should say that you know a little about their lives. It should tell about their lives. It shouldn't just be some random things that they are doing, or the focus should be their lives. And we make sure that while first you speak to the people that you're going to record, you speak to them. You very clearly have to have their consent, not in just saying कि मैं record कर रही हूँ, can I record you type. Not this. You have to tell them that I'm recording this for what? I'm recording this for a website, and it's going to go on YouTube. People from all around the world can watch you. You have to tell this to them very clearly. It's not like oh, they are not going to understand why do I even waste time. Consent is very tricky part like that. You have to tell all of it to them. कि ऐसा ऐसा होने वाला है, ऐसा ऐसा करना है मुझे इससे. Very respectfully, you have to be very truthful to and honest to people who you are recording. You have to have their numbers, because when one sends us the footage and sends us the story, we always make sure that our editors would keep troubling you, and they would say कि ये वाला gap is missing. Now we don't know their age, or we don't know how much they earn. If there are gaps like that, you should be able to reach out to them. You should be able to call them. You should be able to or maybe go to their houses and speak to and sort of fill the gaps. And if there's anything that you won't like to see, for let's say, right now the film that I'm working on is a film about Ravanatha. Ravanatha is a instrument. I wish I had it here. It's in the other room. But anyway, so Ravanatha is a musical instrument. A lot of you must have seen it in Udaipur or Jaipur or Jodhpur. So it is handmade very gently and very skillfully. They make it. So this person Kishan and his wife Babudi Bhai, both of these guys I had interviewed. So there are places where I can, now that I'm editing it, there are places I see uh, that he or the person, the Kishan, who's the musician, is scolding his wife or scolding his children on camera or about something. And there are places where the woman is sitting very comfortably in her house and the camera is on. But I know for a fact that she won't like herself to be seen in that posture, comfortably sitting in the house, unaware of the camera, as in the camera is on for like 7 hours now. Okay. So one gets a little more comfortable and they are not conscious of the posture and all of it. They are not conscious. The Kishan was not conscious of how he shouldn't be yelling at kids on camera or something like that. He should watch his tongue or something. But I know for a fact that they won't like it after they see the film. And we do make the people in the story see the film. Whenever Shanchita had recorded, let's say, a Bahrupia film or a sari studying film, that stones say they stud the saris and all. So all of these films, when she had made, she had gone back to the people, and I have gone back to the people and shown it to them. I had made CDs and gave it to them for future whenever they want to see. So this is what we make sure all of us do, all the contributors and everyone. So for that purpose, I know for a fact that they won't, even whatever it may look sensational, it may look very dramatic and very aesthetic, the way the woman is sitting or the way the man is scolding children or whatever. It may be of some aesthetic value, but we cut that. We simply cut that. Whatever we think that people are not going to like seeing themselves as. So also just don't, whenever you, so from all of you guys, we expect right at the end of it, we are going to make sure that some of you promise us that you're going to go out to your places where you were born or maybe where you're at right now, go and record something and get us something. So that is why we are telling you all these things and all these steps to keep in mind. So whenever you send it to us, just make sure that you have people's consent. You have told them what you're going to do about it. If they're not comfortable with it, check it, go to the next story. Or maybe write about it. If they're not comfortable with being recorded, you can also write about it and get the pictures done. And it should flow like a story. It shouldn't be like a research paper that you're doing. It should have a narrative. It should flow. So conversationally, it should flow. This is what we make sure in the editing part. And this is what we want for all of you, all the filmmakers, to come up with next time when we meet, or maybe before that. Okay, Shanchita, can you share the next slide?
Yes, let me share the screen a little and see.
Guys, please drink water in between. It's okay. I'm also going to drink it, so just a reminder.
These things has to be keep in mind, which are whether you are shooting in a camera or a mobile. So while shooting, you should have extra batteries. I'm sure that your teachers have already told you, but these are very, very important points. Even Ankan and I had gone for a film, for making a film, which is Bahurupi, which is an excellent topic. We could have made better films because, but the weather was a little, I mean, too extreme it was. So anyway, that shouldn't be an excuse. But since I used to live in other part of the country, it was difficult for us to go to that place a lot of time. So what problems did we face, Ankan? What problems, what was the things that we should have carried, what we missed? Those things probably you can tell them after the presentation, or we can discuss it right now so that they know that it shouldn't be done. And while going on a field, you learn every day, you learn. On the
No,
day,
one thing I remember when I think the year was 2017 most probably, if I'm not wrong. So the first problem, I mean, the first resistance that we faced from their people, because we were shooting with one family. So the other, I mean, that particular village where we were doing the shoot. So I think there was near about 30 to 40 families were there, and all those 30 to 40 family members were
yes,
somewhere associated to this documentary making. Bahurupi,
the profession,
I mean, this particular profession. So now the problem that we faced, that we chose someone, and the other families were very much angry with
offended.
us. Why not us? Why
Yes.
them?
Yes.
So a lot of people were coming to us and approaching them ki hum log to un logo se acha hai, then why you are not shooting us? Why they are getting all the money? So, you know, because, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, money is a great factor for them, because not most of them, all of them are actually comes under this category called BPL category. So, you know, everyone needs money. So this particular thing, first of all, we faced. And second thing, I still remember that we faced, I will not name any kind of political party's name, but we faced another resistance from one of the particular political parties who were very active over there, and they were asking money from us also.
Correct. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And and when you go on a field, people expect you to pay money. Yes. That's the problem. So probably it is the best part to pick the head of the village. Go with them so they know that we are just making it to archive the process. We are not from any National Geographic channel or any foreign, we aren't backed up by any foreign company. So to show poor India, we will get money. That is not our point. Our point is to show the people in the city that this profession exists. This profession exists, and they, whatever labor they are doing, you show, you get the products. The products are made by these people who live far away from the city, and we buy the products. So that is our objective right now. And another problem that we faced, it was since they were not too much accustomed with telephone, so we wasted a lot of money just waiting, wasted a lot of time just to wait for the family to return back from the play. We scheduled an interview with them, but then he went out and he wasn't there in his home. So that was another problem. So time is a factor. You have to have a lot of time with you to shoot a documentary. It isn't like you go to the place, shoot, come back.
Shinchita, that reminds me of something. So I was shooting one particular film, I think 2016. Then I was a student of Vishwabharati, and we selected a story on, I think the story was a documentary on Mala. But somehow when we went there, we found out that Mala is not being able to speak up in front of the camera. She's okay. Yes. I mean, she's speaking up, she's babbling like everything. But whenever the camera is getting on, she's becoming very nervous.
Very conscious.
Yes. So actually we had to, change the story. Whatever footages we had to change the story. So if you can focus on that, so it will be really helpful.
So in this case, if someone is not comfortable in front of the camera, probably we shoot them doing work. We will not overwhelm them with the camera in front of them, but we will, I mean, if she gives us a permission de, to we will shoot. If she says that no, you cannot shoot, then there is no way. But if she becomes conscious while interviewing, so there is a way like you capture a lot of activities she is doing all throughout the day, and then audio, you record some of the audio interview and put them in the activity part. That is possible. I think that answers your question, because village में क्या होता है कि वो उनको अनकंफर्टेबल लगता है कैमरा से, बहुत बार हुआ है। तो अगर उनके मतलब इफ यू फील लाइक कि एक्टिविटीज, जैसे कि जस्ट फॉर एन एग्जांपल, इफ क्या कहते हैं, कोलकाता में देर इज दिस metro thing is going on. So there are a lot of labor who comes in the city, works the whole day and then goes off to their tents, camps. So if you want to talk with them, if you want to interview them, they won't do that because it's waste of time. The supervisor won't allow you to do that. So what we can do is record their activities, what manual labor, what timing they are waking up, be with them the whole day, and when they return back you can have question answers session and record them in your audio device or phone, and later you can think of a way how you can put it as a film, as a video. So for that reason the research becomes a little part, kyunki where the questionnaires, everything you have to prepare before going to the field.
Okay, so maybe before going to post production, can you please go to the research part that you were speaking about, Shanchita? I think we will discuss next. Yes. So I think some of these points we have already talked about, but let me just reiterate it because this is the most important thing that you have to do. There's no shortcut, okay? If you don't do your homework, it will show in the film that you're doing, okay? It shows. Sorry to say, when contributors send it to us, just by watching it, we know that they have not read it. They just like the aesthetics of it and they went ahead and shot it. Okay, like them Instagram type. This is not how documentaries are going to work like. And also it is also going to help you with a lot of things. It's going to make your life easier. So first you have to read about the location. So let's say there's this another film that I had done, which I think Shanchita will play in a bit. It is called Terra Tali. So Terra Tali is a dance form. It's a folk dance form. It is done across Rajasthan, and there are certain communities that still practice it, Gameti and other communities like that. So the thing is, I had to reading about the location and community and the people that you choose, the first point in the list. What I had to do was I had to first read about the folk art. Shanchita, I can't see the screen now.
I'll share the
Acha, you're sharing the film. Okay. So I had to read about Udaipur because I had just moved into Udaipur with my parents. So I had to read about the location of from where they are coming, from where people like them are coming, and they also perform it in a place. It's a Haveli, Bagor ki Haveli. So it's a government premise. They are performing it in a government premise. So now things change once you know this information. Now you have to ask them questions differently. You have to choose now the location differently. I couldn't, if I had to, like, let's say, anyway, so I had to, once I knew that this is done by some Western cultural society, so I had to sort of go and ask the people, the head of this performance that happens every day in this government premise. I had to go and ask them for permission and all of this. So this is how it's going to help you do better. So can you please see if we can watch this, Sanchita?
Yeah.
तो ये श्याम छोटा था और जब डांस का टाइम आता था तो मैं दूसरों को थोड़ी देर रखना, मैं डांस करके आती हूँ। कोई लोग बोलते हैं ये क्या है, ये डांस करने वाली है, लेकिन ये हर किसी से नहीं होता, इसमें बहुत मेहनत है। आज भाभी जी करते वो मटके वाला 11 मटके लेके, तो वो मतलब 10-15 मिनट का ही है, लेकिन वो सिर से पसीना ठेठ पैर तलक आ जाता है। कांच छोटे छोटे होते, कभी कभी लग भी जाता है, तो वापस निकाल देते, 2 दिन में ठीक हो जाता है वापस। स्टार्टिंग से हमारा यही खानदानी काम यही है। मेरे दादा दादी के भी मम्मी पापा थे, तो वो पहले मतलब यहाँ गांव में जाते थे, तंदूरा और ढोलक हारमोनियम लेके, और मेरी दादी वो मंजीरा बजाती थी। तो हमने बोला अपन भी कोई डांस शुरुआत करें, तो डांस से मतलब थोड़ा कमाएंगे 2 पैसे। सीखने में तो लगता मिनिमम 12 महीना जैसे तो लगते ही। मैं तो जब 12 साल की थी जब से मैंने सीखा। मेरी मम्मी मतलब ये 13 ताल करती थी, फिर मेरे छोटे छोटे मंजीरे बना के दिए मुझे, तो मैं पूरे दिन ऐसे 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 बजाती रहती थी। 9 मंजीरे पैर के बांधते और 2 हाथ में रहते और 2 यहाँ पे आते, एक यहाँ पे बांधते थे पहले, तो वो अलग अलग तरीकों से बजाया जाता है। 13 ढंग से पूरा, बैठ के भी बजाते, सो के भी बजाते, मुंह में तलवार लेके भी बजाते और पैरों के भी बजाते। स्कूल जाती थी मैं, लेकिन दादाजी कहीं बाहर ले जाते थे, फिर मुझे खाने का बाहर घूमने का अच्छा लगा, तो फिर मैंने बोला यहाँ पढ़े कौन करेगा, बाहर अच्छा है। सबसे पहले ब्राजील गई और ब्राजील से मैं क्यूबा गई और हवाना गई, एम्स्टर्डम गई और मॉस्को भी जाके।
मम्मी ने बुआ ने मिलके बहुत सारी लेडीज़ को सिखाया हमारी कास्ट में, तो वो लेडीज़ सीखे, अब उनकी लड़कियों को सिखा दिया। कोई लड़कियां होती हैं वो ये सोचते हैं कि यार क्या है, नाचने वाली हूँ, हमारे जैसा डांस नहीं करते, तो इनको पता नहीं है कि डांस क्या चीज़ होती है। मैं 7th क्लास में थी तब से मैंने शुरू किया था, उदयपुर में ही आके शुरू किया था, बागोर की हवेली से। 50 रुपये मेरी सैलरी थी एक दिन की, बंद करके कमरा पूरा, और अकेली करती थी, घड़ा लेके बैलेंस बनाती थी। 1 साल में तो पूरी परफेक्ट हो गई। बागोर की हवेली में 2-3 बार सीखने के बाद भी गिराया था, वो थोड़ा सा बैलेंस बिगड़ गया था, दोनों लोटे नीचे गिर गए थे। दूसरी बार जाने का ही मन नहीं कर रहा था, स्टेज पे जाऊंगी नहीं, अब सोच के रखा था, पर अब तो आदत हो चुकी है, भले कितनी भी पब्लिक होगी तो भी डांस कर लूँगी। टीचर बोलते हैं कि यार इतनी अच्छी मतलब डांसर्स है और इतने बड़े बड़े स्टेज पे परफॉर्मेंस कर चुकी है, तो बहुत ही अच्छा लगता है।
Yes, Shanchita, can you please share the screen again? PPT wala. Yes, so this is what I had done when I had graduated. I was like 20-year-old kid who had just met Sainath, who had this introduction about Pari, and I was so excited about it. And this was the first thing that I had done. And this was also the first time I had picked the camera. Before this, I wanted to be a journalist, a person who writes things specifically. And this is when I had first picked up the camera and made this. And I saw Sainath very excited, and then I decided I'm going to make documentaries all my life now. So this is for all of you to get inspired, because this was very naive of this is very naive person who has just started out. This was an inspiration from Sainath's project, which is Pari. So coming to the research part of it, I would talk in context of this particular film only, so that you all get a idea, thoda sa micro idea of how things can be done for specific stories. I read about the location. I read about where these guys are coming from, where the village they are coming from, what is the community. Uh, these people were in OBC category, and the community of dancers. This was also a legacy. They had a 103-year-old person also in the family who was a dancer, who still dances. So I had to go to their house also. And one thing that Ankan was saying, sometimes people get very conscious of getting recorded. Chinchita was also talking about that. So this had happened with the person that you just saw, Nirbala, the mother. She she had never spoken in front of a camera, she said, and she's not going to speak. And now you see how fabulous she is. And after I saw it, I told her, "Ki, so what helped me was going back to their houses, calling them to mine, and then going to their workplaces. And I would go and see the performance every other day. I would pay the tickets and make sure that I go to the performance, see them every day, or maybe like once or twice in a week, so that they get comfortable. It is like how it goes with all of us. I wouldn't like to be recorded on the first day Ankan meets me, or Aruz meets me, or Renuka meets me. I don't want to be recorded the first day. No one likes that, right? But when you're friends with them and you trust people, you have to sort of break that wall, and they will break they'll sort of release the boundary for you, and then you can get in and you can assure them that now you show them the camera, you show what you have recorded and how nicely they are speaking. So this is what had helped me here, because she rejected the idea of getting recorded only. And then after some days, after all of it was done almost, and then I went back and said ki aaj 5 minute baat kar lenge. And this was and when I recorded, I was like, yeah, ye to matlab hero hai. She is the main person in the story. Anyway, so next thing is you have to contact people permissions if needed. Yes, so about permission, I had to speak to the head of this program. It gets done in a government premise, the tourist heritage type Haveli. So it's a very restricted area that way. There were locations in the Haveli that I was not allowed to shoot, and I got to know that because I had contacted the person in charge earlier on. Just imagine if I had not done that, if I had not taken the permission and I had went ahead and shot things, we could have gotten in trouble. You know, Pari could have gotten in trouble. I could have gotten in trouble. कि कैसे कर दिया तुमने ऐसा shoot? जिन areas पे restricted है. So I had went and asked them कि क्या क्या कहाँ पे restrictions है. And they told me you can only record the stage. You can't record the whole Haveli. It is only that they only release this restriction for foreigner people. They can go ahead and do what they want, but we can't. But anyway, so possible storylines. So possible storylines, there were 2 angles here in this one. The kid that you saw, Tara, she was anyway. So she was first of all, that was my focus about the kid, a 16-year-old kid who has dreams of going to Mumbai and being a dancer there, and also being an actor, and who had lost her father some years ago. And the household structure basically has women in charge. There's no man in the house except for the brother. So all of this you get to know when you go through their houses, get them fruits. Don't just barge in. Just get them something. It's just like you would go to your relative's house or your friend's house. Anyway, so possible storylines was there were 2-3 storylines that I had in my mind. I had discussed it with Sanjita and Saina. One angle can be how this kid has her dreams, and then another angle was how this woman, how it is a legacy, and how there are like 3 generations of women residing in a house, are dancers, and are still getting by through the income that they get from dancing in a haveli, a whole old heritage type haveli. So there were all these three storylines, and then Sainath picked what Sainath and Shinjita and other editors helped me get to was that pick the kid's part. Let the kid tell the story of the 3 generations. Let the kid tell that what she's going to do next, what are her dreams. That is the storyline that I picked later on. And during the discussion only with Sainath on the phone and everyone else, I knew that what specific storyline that I'm looking for. And also you get to know about the storylines after you do your homework, after you read about the dance, after you read what is the mythological tales behind it, how it used to get done earlier, and how many dancers are there now of the same community. All of this determines what your storyline is going to be. Preparing a questionnaire. It's very important. Otherwise, it can get all around the place. You can get, it'll be scattered, and you're going to sit with your edited file. Let's say you're going to sit on your editing table forever. You're going to sit there for a year and not get to एक story का storyline. If you have a questionnaire, there's a flow. You ask questions like, where do you all come from? When did you get to Udaipur? How much did you start earning from this girl? Tara started earning, I think, 50 rupees. So you get to these questions with a flow, so that already there's a narrative. So you don't have to do much work later on in the editing and then cry about not finding a story or not finding your flow. That is why you should always stick to your questionnaire. You can then bring in more questions as and when you speak to people, but there should be a basic structure. Preparing a budget. Preparing a budget, usually what gets expensive for us, for people like us who do stories in rural India, and for contributors who have sent us stories from other parts of the countryside. So what the most budget type part is traveling. Traveling cost you need to figure out. Of course, you either get it from maybe the university or the person you are in contact with, let's say Pari in this case. You get that reimbursement as students. It's all sorted out, but you just need to figure a budget. I think when I was doing it, some part of it was my university also had helped, and some of it was my after joining Pari. Actually, Pari, some of it was like that. Because I did not have a camera, I had to hire a camera. That also counted in the budget and all that. So I had to tell all of this to Pari and my university. Know your camera. This Shinchita is going to talk about how to shooting and all of that technical things. And I'm sure actually all of you know that, and all of you know your cameras. Shinchita, would you like to take over, or maybe we can?
Hi. So know your camera is just because it shouldn't be while you are shooting, you started fiddling with your camera. It has to be 2-3 days before. A lot of features are there. If you are a photographer, then good. I'm not going to teach you anything. But then if you are new with the camera, if you plan to shoot it in your mobile phone, then what features your mobile phone gives you to record a video, those kind of little things has to be done beforehand before you go to the field. Pretty much a lot of thing has been covered by Urja already, so I'm not going to waste the time, because we are already an hour more. Ankan, do you have any specific questions for us? Because otherwise.
Okay, actually, I am just I was just going to ask a question to you. Actually, if you just focus a little bit on how story changes on the editing table, I think that will be done.
Okay, comes the post-production. Delete anything that could get narrators in trouble. Urja already spoke about it, but again, again I'll say something like give some example. When we went to the Bahurupi film, there were people who came into the frame, I mean, while we question, there were diversions. When we question, they answer, but then they divert. They divert to their personal things. They divert to political things that shouldn't be there in the film. So you have to keep in mind that what was the planning that you made for the film. And editing, sometimes it happens that when you come back to the editing table, you see all the footages, the angle changes. What we planned for doesn't happen all the time when you are in field. Protest march, there is a video in protest march. We went there, we didn't know what to shoot, we just recorded stuffs. When we came back, we saw that what can we how there will be some angles given to those interviews. If there is anything you think they won't like seeing, cut that off. Like Urja already discussed it. When she went to, she is making a film. Urja, you tell me what happened. That lady was in a comfortable position in her house, but then you do not want that to be in the film. So
Yeah.
those kind of theme has to be trimmed out. There are people who comment about other people. We do not want to put that as well. In the Sundarbans, there are political problems. People talk about it on camera, unconscious of the camera, but then we do not want them to get into trouble after the film is released, because they have to stay in the village. You are coming back to your home in your AC room, but they aren't. They have to stay with the community.
Yeah. Also about, can I say something, Shinchita?
No, you tell.
Sorry for interrupting. So as Ankan was asking, it reminded of something that had happened to me while editing the one that I'm still in the process of editing. So this Ravanatha instrument musician people. So I did not think of this now in my mind right now. Even I have a couple of storylines going on, which I had not thought of earlier on only. So these are the new things that are coming into my mind कि अभी इस तरीके से भी story हो सकती है. So what has recently come up to me is that now what the angle now I have seen, which I didn't see it earlier, was that abhi the musician, has a very romanticized idea of music, of Rajasthan, of staying in Rajasthan, of how artists don't need money to survive and all of that. We only need people to like our work. He would say all these romanticizing things. And on the contrary, the woman who actually runs the house, who knows the economics of the house, who is basically spending for five kids, sorry, and the person also, the man also, she actually knows कि कितना difficult है to be an artist in a village. So she would, on the contrary, she would just keep on disagreeing with the man, with the artist. She would keep on saying कि क्या करे, पेट थोड़ी भरेगा इससे. तारीफ कर लेते हैं लोग. You click our videos, you make our videos, you put it up on Instagram. अब से करें क्या? What is the point of all of this? Tell me. She's like this. She would, whenever this guy is telling all the mythological tales of their folk gods and all that, how he respects them, she would say, see, that god of yours is no more. She would say that bluntly, and she's questioning the religion, she's questioning the folk gods. You had made this art for us, you had given this art to us, now what do we do about this? Why are you not helping us get better? Why is our life is not getting better? Why do we not have a washroom? Why do we not have a bathroom for our daughter? She has to go to the forest every day. So this disagreement between the two of them, this has now become the story which I had no idea of before it came to the editing table. So you have to be open-minded about it. कि editing table पे अब कुछ भी तीसरी चीज हो सकती है. You always have to be open-minded about it. कुछ भी नया आ सकता है, and you have to. It's only a good thing, guys. Even after you do your homework, things are going to change. But it's only for the good. Yeah, that's just one thing I wanted to share.
One of my students, Shauncharan, he wants to ask something about the budgeting. I mean, he's a budding documentary maker. So he actually wants to know that what about the budgeting? If he plans to shoot something, then how he is going to gather the fund?
There are grants, and it's always a good idea, probably to let's say if you are recording nomadic tribes, or if you are recording something which has to do about wildlife. So you have to have some things के ये कहाँ पे जाने वाला है फिर. Okay, you have to keep it in mind कि किस grants के अंदर आ सकता है, या फिर is my university going to fund it? Is this my university project or something? I'm not sure if you all have it there, but sometimes
I'll give you an idea. There are a lot of organizations who fund good films. Okay, like Azim Premji, there are people, there are different NGOs who fund your expenses for films. If you do story on women, if you do story on healthcare, there are different organizations. We have a list. We can share that with you. You
Yeah,
have
that
to
will be
pitch.
helpful.
Yeah, you have to pitch ideas. First, you have to know what you are going to show it in the film. Because organizations will help you only if they get benefited by your film. Okay, if you are doing a healthcare story, they are going to give you a budget for that. Okay, every person or every organization has their own thing. You have to pitch in ideas and budgeting for that. Suppose if you are first time filmmaker, you won't have a big budget, because first you have to prove yourself, right? So pick something which is closer to you, which is attainable, which is nominal cost effective. So that kind of things you have to pick up. What will be your transportation cost, how many times you have to commute. So make a Excel sheet of that. Get an idea yourself before pitching in ideas to any organization. And what are the main things that what are the main costs that the expenditures are? The commuting part, if you do not have a equipment, then per day basis you have to make a budget of that. And what do you say, food is very nominal in India. A meal is very, and also while you're shooting, if you are shooting in a place where you have to feed the people whom you are interviewing, that also comes in the budgeting part. Those things, if you make a budget, pitch ideas, I'll share some link where you can pitch your send your story ideas. I think that would do.
Yeah, Shinjita, you send me, I'll share with them actually.
Yeah.
And adding to that, I remember in 2018, most probably, I got a funding from Pyramid Foundation for making documentaries.
There are
So
a lot of, if
yeah, a lot
if
of,
you search for
yes,
it,
yes, yes. So they gave me, I think, near about 40,000 rupees, if I'm not wrong. So 40,000
that
rupees back in
changes
2017 was a lot actually.
lot, yeah. That constantly changes. There are fellowships, there are yeah.
Ma'am, may I interrupt? Ma'am, the thing I wanted to ask, supposedly you told me earlier that if you want to pitch an idea, you have to already keep an idea that the company which you're pitching it to benefits from it or not.
The voice is echoing. Will you?
Yeah, so ma'am, earlier you said that if we wanted to pitch an idea or something which we want to make a film about, and we need to keep in mind whether the company we are pitching it to or the person we are pitching it to benefits from the idea in some way or the other. So ma'am, is it like supposedly favorable for us to pre-search what the motive of the companies are in order to get, like sort of target the company which we want to pitch it to?
That you can get it from the name of the company. There are not company, I won't say company, there are most of them are non-profits.
Yeah,
so
CSR activities actually.
CSR activities. So if you go to Population Foundation of India, they are mostly health, they cover health bits. If you want to do story on health, you go to them, you pitch ideas to them. So there are you have to find out that is your homework.
Supposedly. Yeah, and ma'am, supposedly to gather sort of permissions to access archives or supposed data which might be sensitive to certain organizations or something like that, to sort of get higher permission grants to access something which might be helpful in order to, or informative rather.
Information, if you want data, facts, information, then
PAR
is the place.
Back up our claims, to like proof on that, backing up our claims. Like, how is it something which we need to devise on our own, like our own methods? We are free to do it as long as we are doing it legally or something like that, based in the law, or is there supposedly
I understand your question. I will answer one part of your question. If you want to read, if you want to know the laws of the country, if you want to know the media laws, where you can shoot, what are the permissions, then there is a place called Pari Resource. You go by that. I mean, if you go log into that page, Ankan, I'll share the link with you. You share with it to him. There are a lot of study materials. If you go by that, I'm sure it will answer a lot of your question. Like, what is the population of this village? Like, what is the law? What are the 3 laws? The farm laws? What everything in a
grants available to the villages, also like the tie-ups with the various irrigation policies and stuff like that.
policies. What?
Yes, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
policies,
yeah.
like the government implements on certain welfare
Yes,
policies
yes,
implemented
yes.
on the government, how much strictness or like aptness it is being implemented, rather.
Yes, there
Stuff
are.
like
There
that.
are. I
Okay.
will share that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Also, there is a section on the party. I have seen that the minimum wages also has been written. Mane, you are shooting about someone and you need to pay them. So the minimum wage, basically the minimum wage actually varies from place to place. I mean, in Mumbai, maybe it's 60 rupees, but in Kolkata, it will be like 40 rupees because we all know that Kolkata is cheaper than Mumbai. So it is also written. I have seen that.
So, Ankan, there is a library. There is a library part. If you go by that, I think the documentary filmmakers will get an answer to a lot of their questions.
Yes.
There is a team. There is an editorial team who picks up reports, picks up library documents from the government which are not available in the government website as well, but they were released at a time when there was no hide and seek. Those are also there in the section. If you go by that, I'm sure it will help.
Yeah, sure.
Also, there's another way to do it is to speak to people. You can also record people saying things like that. I'm not sure if Sanjay had questioned this, no? Sanjay and whoever.
Yeah, Sanjay,
Yeah. So, so there was this film about domestic violence in UP. One of our reporters had done a very nice story on it, and she had also recorded it.
Correct.
So, to get the current situation, because it's very difficult, I know what you're talking about. It's very difficult also to get sensitive data like this in a country like India, where the data is not very well researched. इतना मुश्किल से मिलता नहीं है. Whenever you go to some website, you see 4 साल पहले का data चला गया है. It's just vanishes somehow. It's difficult like that. So what this person Jigyasa did is she went to the police station, spoke to the commissioner and said, now tell me what the situation here is. So this is another way to get a primary source of data type things. Yeah. Is there any more questions? Please, guys, speak up if you liked any of our films that we have shown. There were actually many more that we were supposed to show, but then and also it's a good way to start with your own village. This is what Sainath had told me when I started off. If you for the first time person who are, so it's always easier because there are many stories. You just need to get out of your house, especially in rural areas. You just need to get out of your house and walk on the streets, speak to people, know about them, understand about their lives, understand the economics of their houses, understand how schools are in your village. You just need to get a little bit idea about all of it, and then you have a story.
Yeah, I still remember Sainath sir's one of the lectures. He said that you are in a place called Shantiniketan, which is surrounded by a lot of resources, a lot of villages. So you start, shooting from here.
But don't think that cities do not have story. City has a lot of story because migrants. It's a big part. Without the migrants, the cities are nothing. Without the bridges, without the roads, the city is nothing. So people, where are they coming from? Why have they migrated? Why have they migrated is the question. Probably the farming is not working out. Probably there is problems in their village. Probably there is unemployment in the village. They are coming back to the city. So in the cities, there are a lot topics you have to just find out.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you already have some ideas by now. You can think of your villages, you can think of the childhood memories, you can pick out things ki ye wala profession. Nobody knows a profession like this. Recently, today only we have published a story of coin makers. So it's very unusual stories, like most of our Pari
Read it,
stories.
read it.
Yeah, please do read it. Please visit Pari and you'll get an idea. You'll get a fair idea of what we do and what you can do about just roaming around in your own place where you are born and you're still staying at, or maybe an urban area, as Shinjita said.
Have you ever came across this kind of story? You just go to the link that I shared. If it is possible for you to present Ankon, just go by that. It is not a film, it is a photo story, but easily you can, this is your research. Somebody has already written a story and you can make
Actually,
a film
this
out of it.
person, Shinjita, I just got a call during this video call that this person has also sent videos. So we are going to publish the video also. She just she went back and shot the videos for us. And we are
No,
going
I'm
to,
saying that since Pari is an archive itself, why
Yeah.
there are how many participants in the call? There are
81.
81.
81, and so many people are sitting in the
Also
classrooms.
in the classroom.
Oh, lovely.
So 100, yeah. So 100 people are listening to us. If you go by the stories in ruralindia.org, which is our website, if you go through the stories, you will get 1,000 ideas which do not have video. You can, that is your research paper. Already someone has written the story, researched it out for you. You just go to the field and find out. Making life easier. Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm very sorry to interrupt you. I had just one question. I personally feel that documentary is getting its due respect in India with time, and especially in Bengal. And we are standing at a point when documentary like Writing with Fire, it's getting a global recognition. I just had a very small question. What do you think is the future of docu feature genre in our country and probably this part of India, where we can see that a movie like Bakita Byaktigoto or AK versus AK, they have gained prominence amongst the audience? And could we really think of these kind of pieces which pertain to docu feature genre?
Yeah. What you are saying is now is what you are saying is very good. If visually it's perfect, it's fine. But what we do for Pari is a little different, because we are a kind of archiving. We are kind of archiving. We cannot feature anyone, a stone, what do we say? A weaving community. I cannot make people act to show them that they are weavers. We work with actual weavers. But what your question was, whether that has a future or not, it obviously has a future, because they are visually perfect, they look very good. But then, I mean, the main actual protagonist in the films are actors. Okay, so we are called here for our kind of documentaries that we spoke about. It's mostly the people who are working on the subject, those people are the protagonist, but not featured. Probably Ankan, you can have a session on that, because it's a very good topic in today's world and people love watching those kind of films.
We have one, Shinjita, do you remember Mandi?
Mandi, there are, but we do not promote those kind of films because
It's
it's
one of the one of the things that India now as a country, our audience, let's say you and
loves
I,
it.
also, we are growing a taste for it. We have grown a taste for it. So it is one of the nicest things coming up. So it is a good idea actually. You can really look for something. I've shared the link of the film Mandi. You can also watch it. It's one of the nicest films.
And
it has a future.
I'm not against it or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that the actors are getting films, no doubt. That's a profession. But what we are covering right now is the professions who are the actual actors in their professions, we are recording them. I mean, the viewer is a viewer. It's not someone, some actor from Hollywood or Tollywood. That is very, very important, which is missing, which is no one is covering it. So we are not going to divert our objective of recording the countryside. There will be feature films where people are acting, but mostly the films that we cover are the daily labor of a women, the daily labor of a weaver, craftsmanship.
Thank you, ma'am, for your advice. Just last point. Sorry to stretch this so far. The only point which I want to make is that often what happens, and I've also noticed this, is that people are either very shy, camera shy, or they cannot really speak about the social and political issues in front of camera, as they're afraid of their local authoritarian, like people who are controlling them. And that's why what happens is that I personally think if we have a good motive in our mind, then even if we are talking about the weavers, or let's say we are talking about the manual scavengers of the villages, which is still a running practice in Mumbai or many parts of the country, where they are actually working for us. So they might have this stigma and they might be connected with this profession, and they would face some negative reaction after shooting for the documentary.
It happens.
I think actors could come in here and represent the social issue, because for all of us the social issue is probably more important than who's representing it, because otherwise in case of Dalit movies as well, we'll always find Dalit people acting Dalit characters, which is quite difficult, right, ma'am?
No, I completely liked your idea where you cannot show in a domestic violence video, we cannot show the women's face in camera. That's the problem. We cannot do that, right? If there is smuggling happening on the borders, who are these people? They just get 200, 500 rupees for like smuggling the horns of a rhino. They are not getting as much money as the business makers are making, the smugglers are making, but they are the people who have to do it. But you cannot show them in the documentary. The actors does fill in the gap when it comes to these kind of topics.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, so I think we should wrap up. I mean, that's the end of, thank you for your valuable time, and our head of the department, ma'am, will like to give you a vote of thanks. So yeah, let me introduce Devavani, ma'am.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Urja ma'am, and hi, Sanchita ma'am.
Don't call us ma'am, please.
Okay. Hi, Urja, and hi, Sanchita.
Hi.
This is Devavani Mukherjee. And this session was, as far as I could hear, I was in the department and we had, had our speakers on, so we could hear to it as far as I could hear and learn. I mean, these are very interesting areas which are growing very fast. The documentary sections. When I was a child, I remember when we used to go for a cinema, what used to happen before the cinema began, there used to be a documentary based on Mahatma Gandhi or maybe Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in black and white, which would ideally not be very interesting sometimes. Or maybe with subtitles or not with subtitles, but it would ideally not be very interesting because we used to feel very bored. Maybe back of the mind, we had the thought that we have come here to watch the movie. But that concept has ideally changed. It has gone through a 360-degree transformation, and people are now concentrating in making different kinds of docu-features, documentaries. In fact, I find Ankan a person who is really interested in this, and he's got the entire concept. Students are coming up with these ideologies, and I really feel great. I also feel sorry that why not at that point of time when we were a child, these things were not there. We would have learned much, much more. But still, I believe that I'm still on the learning mode. Despite being the head of the department, we all are on the learning mode. We learn till the last day of life, and I encourage myself in learning the areas which I don't know. I learn from Ankan, I learn from my different colleagues. because almost they are my student types, those who are working with me. But it was a fantastic session, and it was a very lucrative session. And I'm really honored to have both of you on this platform for I lead Department of Media Science. And thank you so much for sharing such a long period of time from your tight schedule. And you really helped the students. And shortly we would come up as in a physical mode, because this hybrid mode or online mode is not sufficient for media students. It is not sufficient.
Not sufficient.
So
right.
March onwards, we are sure to come up on the physical mode. And then I would ideally, the iLead College and me would love to have you on board.
Thank you
you
so
would
much.
physically come up and go for a seminar itself. Thank you
so much. That would be lovely. We had so much to say that we cannot finish it on a day.
The time constraint is a factor. And these are creative areas which you can't finish within the limited time.
We are open to all the questions that students will go through the films that we share. We are open to that. We will share our email IDs, whatever films they have.
I'm really grateful.
Idea,
I'm really happy that you're helping us so much. And once it becomes physical, I'll keep a tag with Ankan, and he would definitely invite you for a proper full-length seminar where you can speak to your heart's content and you can interact with the students.
That's lovely.
Thank you so much. Have a great day and be safe.
Thank you so
once
much.
again.
Thank you.
Lovely seeing you all. Please just send us ideas already, guys. I know that you have it. All the students are the same. Please just come up with ideas, and you can directly write to Ankan and Chinchita and me or whoever. We'll be in touch. I
will share our email IDs so that people can send us ideas.
Yeah.
And any question.
I can do that on your behalf, actually.
Take care.
I already have your email IDs, both of yours. Chinchita Dita chiloi, Urja's also I have.
Lovely. Yeah. Thank you, guys. See you again soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Hope you all had fun.
Urja,
bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye.